Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Get ready to rumble!
Pump up the jam, yo, pump it up, yo, pump it. Y'all ready for this?
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the real Rob G, and this is normally the Rob G and J-Dub radio show. However, J-Dub is not here with me right now. I'm actually sitting here all by my lonesome, not doing much of anything other than just being awesome as I always am. And this show is entitled, this show is rated R. What does R stand for? Restricted? No, it stands for Real Rob G. And that's me. It's me. It's that real Rob. Anyway, you know who I am. Anyway, there's a lot of things on my mind, but I'm feeling kind of emotionally stumped lately. Almost to the verge of emotionally constipated, mentally constipated, and you can take that ever how you want. But there's so many things. I've been trying to get back into the radio show. J-Dub is doing a lot of outside things right now, and God bless him for all that. He's taking care of his personal business, and that is totally awesome. I totally respect the man. I mean, he's my nephew, but I look up to him. He's doing a hell of a good job taking care of his business. As for myself, I usually don't take care of my business very well. Anybody who knows me outside of the radio show knows this. I am emotionally constipated, mentally constipated. There's really not a whole lot I can really say. I have a lot of opinions. I'm a very opinionated person, and most people know this. If you listen to the radio show, if you listen to my friends, if you listen to my family, you know that I'm pretty much just a jackass. And yeah, take it as you want, ever how you want to take it. It doesn't matter. Let's talk about one thing, and you know, the normal part of whether you listen to the beforehand Rob's World radio show or whether you listen to the Rob G and J-Dub radio show, no matter what you do, what you listen to, you know that I am a Facebookaholic. I am a social media whore. And one of the things that I do on the radio show is I discuss different stories from around the country, around the world, and I usually put my little spin on it, and whoever is helping me with the radio show, whether it be J-Dub or the past hosts we had John House was one of our radio show co-hosts. There's been a few, and they usually help me. And what a good part that they have on the radio show is kind of controlling me a little bit. Although I am uncontrollable, don't get me wrong, but they kind of keep me leveled to a certain extent, if that makes any sense at all. And you probably just heard my little doo-doo. It was my Facebook notification, because like I said, I am somewhat of a Facebook whore. With that being said, there's a lot of different things going on Facebook right now that's got me totally over with the Facebook Nation. And when I say that, I'm actually lying. I'm a pretty hated individual in my community right now because of the different things that I do on Facebook that I really felt was a community project and things that I was doing to help the community. And I've actually pissed off a lot of people in the process. That was not my original intent, but sometimes the truth hurts. And when you lay the truth out there, those who get pissed off at the truth are the ass clowns who are trying to hide the truth. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but one particular thing was said. I was passing out public information, and I was told by a city official that just because it's public information does not mean the public has the right to know. Or not necessarily has the right to know, but not that they should know. Well, I'm going to disagree with you wholeheartedly, but I'm not going to totally get into that because it's going to cause a big old opening of the can of worms, so to speak. And there's one particular female who happens to be upset with me, and she just is totally. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think maybe there might be a little more to it than just the whole Facebook thing. I think she's seen my Facebook profile picture, and it probably was totally like. But I can't blame her. I can't blame her at all, because sometimes, I mean, it's hard being this good looking of a guy, man. I mean, I got the ruggedly handsome good looks. If I was 20 years younger and she had lower standards, who knows what could happen? But until then, she's just going to have to think about it. So, with that being said, I'm going to cruise on over here to what we're going to talk about today, and this. I'm gonna be talking about different things, but then I'm gonna go back to the stories. And I may, if you're a fan of the show for any amount of time, you know that I wander around, and sometimes I spout incoherently. You never know what's gonna happen. I could shout obscenities. I could praise God one minute, cut you out the next. Who knows what's gonna happen? But anyway, this first story we're gonna talk about. This happened. This irate. Now, first of all, this story. How many times does this happen to people? This happens to me all the time. Anyway, an irate woman said this irate woman had to be restrained after cabin crew members busted up her tryst with a man in the bathroom during a Virgin Airlines flight. I think it's kind of funny as a Virgin Airlines flight. But anyway, from Las Vegas to Las Vegas from London last week. Now, this is what happened. Passengers told UK tabloid The Sun that they saw this woman, who was in her 20s, traveling with her parents. And she was flirting and, quote-unquote, getting heated with the guy next to her. Well, people began to complain about hearing loud sex noises after the couple retreated to the restroom. Crew members had to force the restroom door open and thwarted the couple's mile-high induction ceremony. That's just rude. That is absolutely just rude. How many times... Now, who amongst us has not been on an airplane? The Mile High Club. Who does not want to be a member of the Mile High Club? Do you know the answer to that? Me. I do not want to be a member of the Mile High Club. While I probably would not turn down any sort of sexual encounter, because not only am I a Facebook whore, I'm somewhat of a whore in person too. Although I will let you know, I have to charge $7. I do charge $7, and the reason why that is, now you can get a halftime special for $3.50, but I will strongly advise the $7 Rob job. And for $7, you also get a fried bologna sandwich and a glass of red Kool-Aid. And, you get all the other extra stuff that goes along with it. But, whatever. So, let's go. Let's go with this next story. This next story, and it's funny to me that this next story... Am I going to ramble incoherently? Am I going to tell a story? What's going to happen? Let me tell one little story. Actually, I'm going to save the story for about another 5 minutes. But don't forget to remind me. I'm in here by myself. Who's going to remind me? Maybe I should set an alarm or something. Well, this happened in Portland. In Portland, Oregon, police were called to... Now, pay attention when I say this. Police were called to report of a man running naked in traffic near North Columbia Boulevard and Portsmouth Avenue at 4 o'clock in the morning Sunday. Now, remember... 4 o'clock in the morning, running naked in traffic down the road. Now, as officers responded, a second report came in. The second report said the naked man was now doing push-ups in the middle of the street. You're hearing this correctly. 4 o'clock in the morning Sunday. First, the guy's running down the road naked. Do you know the difference between naked and naked? Naked means you have no clothes on. Naked, N-E-K-I-D, means you're naked and you're up to something. Well, anyway, a third report come in that now the naked guy, running down the road doing push-ups, has now been struck by a vehicle. Well, officers and emergency medical workers found the man deceased, according to the Portland Police Bureau. So this guy apparently died from his injuries. It doesn't really give any more details on this, but you almost got to realize that the toxicology report is probably going to be pretty positive on some drug issues. I'm not trying to cast allegations. I'm not trying to persecute this young man. I'm just saying, you're running down the middle of traffic, in the middle of the road at 4 o'clock in the morning, on a Sunday no less. You're naked, you're doing push-ups in the middle of the road, and you get hit by a car. Chances are something is not exactly balanced correctly at that time. Like I said, I'm not casting allegations. It could all be innocent, but something tells me it's probably not. Well, anyhow, have you ever run naked down the road? Have you ever run naked anywhere? I've never. I'm just saying. I don't. Well, first of all, I'm a fat guy. I don't run much anywhere. But this next story here, this kind of pisses me off a little bit. This isn't really that funny. It's not funny at all, actually. Before I get to the story, I'll go and tell the story. This guy, Michael Setawan, he's a former NYPD officer. He was arrested Sunday afternoon for allegedly spray painting anti-Semitic messages along cars and walls in Brooklyn late Saturday night. Now, Setawan, 36, allegedly vandalized 19 buildings and cars near 14th Avenue to Borough Park with anti-Jewish symbols and slurs. Now, slurs. I slurred when I said that. Anyway, Setawan, a Queens man who resigned from the police 7 years ago, was charged with criminal mischief as a hate crime, criminal mischief, and aggravated harassment as a hate crime. He was charged with 19 counts of each offense, and that's according to a police statement. This guy has ass clown written all over. Why in this day and time, with all the problems that we have going on out here, how are you going to be a hater? I mean, what goes through your mind? Well, I mean, there's so much hate and discontent in the world today. Why do you want to add to it? Now, I don't know what's going on in his life. I don't know what's going on in his life. I don't know. All I'm saying is this guy is an ass clown. Now, back when I did the Rob's World radio show, we had an award we would give away once a month. It was a BPMF award. And what that stood for was the Bipolar MFer Award. And, yeah, we'd give that. And this guy definitely, he deserves it. He deserves two of them. He definitely deserves two of them because he is an ass clown. He is a bipolar mother effer. Bipolar mother effer. Now today's May 5th, which some people may realize is, what is it? What is May 5th? Cinco de Mayo. What does Cinco de Mayo stand for? May 5th. Well, in Davis, California, students at the University of California, Davis, have canceled plans for a drinking party dubbed Cinco de Drinko. Why? You know they're going to get drunk. Cinco de Drinko, whatever. They're a bunch of college kids, and they're going. Anyway, this is after this happened. Actually, this was going to happen Saturday. Today's Monday. This was going to happen Saturday, I guess. Well, they canceled the plans for a drinking party dubbed Cinco de Drinko after protesters called it racially insensitive. The party was to be held Saturday, ahead of Monday's Cinco de Mayo holiday that celebrates Mexican heritage. Some students who had organized the party worked on the on-campus coffee house where Friday's protest had took place. The Sacramento Bee reported that about 100 students enacted a sit-down at the coffee house, wearing red shirts and chanting slogans. Well, they called for a boycott of the student-run cafe and cafeteria, successfully scuttling plans of the off-campus party. But Jonathan Beatty also attended this protest wearing a sombrero. He said the theme was not racist, comparing it to a St. Patrick's Day festivities. People are so sensitive nowadays about everything. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. People are going to be sensitive about it. I don't see it as being. I don't see it as being a racially insensitive thing. These people are wanting to get drunk, and we as Americans, what do? It doesn't matter what the holiday is. We are going to get drunk. If you're actually familiar with Cinco de Mayo, there's basically, if you want to get technical about it, it would be like a state in the United States. That's what that kind of was in Mexico. It was basically a small part of Mexico, more or less, would be a state. They had more. How am I going to say this and make you understand it? They won their freedom, basically, and it's a long drawn out thing, and I can't really understand it I know what I mean, but I can't really say it. It's more that mentally constipated thing going on. But there's more people in the United States that celebrate this Cinco de Mayo than there are in Mexico. Most people in Mexico don't even celebrate it. Does that make any sense? Like I said, we're Americans. We'll do anything we can to get drunk. Oh my God, look, it's Monday. Hell, we even do it for May 4th. It's bad enough May 5th is Cinco de Mayo. May 4th, may the 4th be with you. National Star Wars Day. We'll do anything we can to get drunk. It's stupid. We're stupid. Well, I'm not stupid. You may be stupid, but I'm not. But regardless, that's what it is. Anyway, so, yeah, Cinco de Mayo, racially motivated, whatever. Let's talk about this. In this story here, and I usually try to stay in the United States when I do a story, but this here happened, and I have to say this, because this is kind of a funny story, and it's out of Siberia. You know where that is, right? So, some of these names I'm probably not going to be able to pronounce because I don't really speak Russian or anything. So, anyway, this happened in Siberia. A drunken thief who stole a car intending to drive home was caught because he was so drunk he fell asleep inside of it before leaving. Well, the next morning, the stunned owner of the car was about to set off to work when he saw the crook, Jacob Takarev, let's say, 32, still snoozing inside his vehicle. Well, this car, the car catnap in the city of Novunsky. I probably shouldn't do these foreign stories because I have no idea how to find. I need JW here with me right now. Where the hell's he at? In southwestern Siberia is now likely to cost him his freedom after police turned up shortly afterwards to arrest him. Police spokesman Arkip Isavev, 37, said he got drunk the previous night. He could not walk home, but said he could not afford a taxi either, as he'd run out of cash because he'd spent all of it on his alcohol. Well, so he thought he'd take a car. He was very apologetic, but that will not save him from a court appearance. Well, this is happening in Siberia. I mean, what do you think they're going to do to him in Siberia? I mean, because they kind of don't they like cut your head off or something? Well, some of them countries, like, people think we got it bad in the United States. There's some countries, if you get caught stealing here, most of the time you get caught stealing, you get a little slap across the wrist. There's some countries you get caught stealing, you get your damn hand cut off. But thank God that's not around here. I mean, not that I'm a thief or nothing, but man, I'd hate to, yeah, you know. Well, the story I was going to tell you a while ago, this is a story that people love to hear, and it's bad to me, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and tell it anyway. As many people know, my daytime job, I'm a taxi driver. Well, a few years ago, I was driving down the road on the east side. And those of you who already know the story, you're going to love hearing it again. Those of you who ain't heard it, I'm sure you're going to laugh at me. Well, I was driving down the road, and I come up the corner of approximately 4th and Casey Avenue in the east side of Mount Vernon, Illinois, 62864. And what happened? I saw a purse laying in the middle of the road. Well, my first thought was, hey, there's a person in the middle of the road. My second thought was somebody's got their purse stolen or lost or dropped it or whatever. I might be able to try to get it back to the rightful owner. Well, then the third little voice popped into my head and said, hey, there might be money in there. So I thought about it for a minute. Oh, okay, that'd be cool. I can get me some money here. That'd be awesome. So I jumped out and I grabbed the purse and I threw it in the front seat and I took it back off again. I got about half a block down the road and I reached into the purse to reach down in there, while driving, and all of a sudden it was like, oh my God. I pulled my hand back up out of there and I was about wrist deep in poop. Honest to God poop. And it wasn't like turds or nothing. This is like beef stew style poop. Someone had pooped in this purse and left it in the middle of the road. So I take it and I throw it out the window. I'm screaming, oh my God! I throw it out the window. And I get on up the road to where I'm supposed to be going, and I stop and I get out of the van and I'm in the back pouring antifreeze on my hand trying to clean up. And this guy walks out the door. Hey man, he's drunk by the way. Hey man, you didn't pick up a purse up the road, did you? I was like, what? He goes, yeah man, me and a friend of mine, man, we pooped in the purse, put it in the middle of the street, we helped somebody pick it up. I was like, you motherfucker. Well, I went, oh my God, I went off. And it was like, so now you can laugh at me. I've had my hand in poop before. Funny story. It's funny now, but it really, seriously, was not funny at the time. It was an emotionally traumatic experience, and I suffered from it. Well, this next story here, this happened in Minnesota. A dozen friends heading to the Kentucky Derby for a bachelor party discovered a dead body en route to the Run for the Roses. The group was headed to Churchill Downs Thursday when they stopped off in Winona, Minnesota, and made the grim discovery. The Minneapolis Star-Tribune has reported. Well, the groom and his pals they had started out in the Twin Cities and stopped off in Winona to pick up a few more partygoers when they found a body in the exterior compartment of the RV that they had rented. So this is a rented RV, and they open up the exterior compartment, and there's a dead body laying there. Well, Jake Winnick of Minneapolis told the newspaper that the first hint of trouble came when someone opened up the side compartment and there was a foul odor. Well, he said when someone opened the other side, they saw a body. It did not look fresh. Let's put it that way, he said. Can you imagine? I mean, can you just imagine? I don't like seeing dead bodies at a funeral. I couldn't imagine seeing a dead body like out in the wild, so to speak. Oh my God, I would freak out. I would poop my pants. I'd probably vomit everywhere. It would be a totally horrific, ugly experience, and I am so glad that I don't have to deal with that. You know how pregnant women, actually all women, have what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say mental disorder because I'd probably offend a few women, but let's say emotional, I don't know. Let's just go to the story. A pregnant woman is accused of stabbing and killing her boyfriend for not buying her gifts during a trip to the shopping mall. Miata Felon, she's going to be a felon after this, 24, has been charged with first-degree murder for the April 30th death of her boyfriend, 28-year-old Larry Martin. According to a report by the Chicago Tribune, Judge Maria Caracas set bail at $1 million. Well, Felon stood over a stabbed Martin yelling, "This is what you get for messing with me! I hope you die, motherfucker!" As Martin's 8-year-old son, Lavelle, watched. Assistant State's Attorney Glenn Runk, that's the story that Glenn Runk has said. He's the Assistant State's Attorney anyway. Prior to the stabbing, Felon, Martin, and Lavelle, and Martin's 25-year-old cousin went to a shopping mall. Runk said, she reportedly accused Martin of being selfish for buying items for his cousin and son, but not her. This one, I don't know if it was her pregnancy hormones. I don't know if she's just psycho. But looking at her picture, I'm thinking it's probably she's psycho. But the hormonal things probably had the pregnancy hormones probably had a lot to do with it. That's why there's times that I am totally glad I'm single. I do miss being in a relationship. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good things about it. I believe that marriage is a fine institution. But I think also, a mental institution might be a little easier to deal with. Who likes Ben Affleck? You like Ben Affleck? I'm not a Ben Affleck fan. I have to say, I'm just not. Well, Ben Affleck has been banned for life from playing blackjack at the Hard Rock Cafe in Las Vegas after security officers busted him for counting cards. For some reason, when I think of that, I immediately think of Rain Man with Dustin Hoffman. Well, Ben was told that he cannot ever... You hear my little Facebook notification? You hear that? Well, Ben was told he could never play blackjack at the Hard Rock again. He was playing blackjack at a high rollers table on Tuesday and was doing pretty well. He is really smart and a great blackjack player. This is what a source has said. Well, suddenly managers approached him and said, "Hey, you're playing too well. You're going to have to stop playing blackjack. You can play any other game at the Hard Rock, but you are banned from playing blackjack in our casino." Why would it... Now, I'm not a gambler. I don't know these things. But why would it be against the law to count cards? It seems like to me, you're not technically cheating, are you? I mean, it seems to me like it would be part of your advantage. I mean, I don't see why it would be against the law or against the rules. whatever. But you ever heard the story of the chicken lady? This happened out of Tampa, Florida. A Florida woman has been taking advantage of a guarantee that the Publix, P-U-B-L-I-X, Publix grocery store chain makes to its customers, and has scored herself more than 300 free rotisserie chickens in the last year. Janet Feldman, sorry. Us French people like to say Jeanette. Her name is her American name is Janet, but we French people call her Jeanette. Anyway, she's able to use the Publix Promise policy to get the chickens for free because their actual weight doesn't match the labels. When the 57-year-old finds an underweight bird, she simply lets the store manager know and gets the chicken for free.
I'm known as the chicken lady,
Feldman told the Sun Sentinel.
I can pick them blindfolded. I haven't paid for a chicken in almost a year.
Well, that's something to be proud of there, Janet. But anyhow, she gets chickens for free, and they call her a chicken lady. Well, this next story, and it's probably going to be close to our last because we only have about 4 minutes left to go. This happened in Livingston, New York. An accident involving two impaired drivers. Not one. You didn't hear me that. I said two, not one. Two is more than one. An accident involving two impaired drivers. This resulted is on the Teutonic State Parkway, resulting in both of them being arrested by New York State police officers. One for being drunk, and the other one for being high. Malcolm Sidbury called 911 after his car was allegedly sideswiped by Thomas Robbins as he tried to pass him. After the accident, Robbins drove away. When the police eventually found the two men on State Route 82, they realized that Sidbury was under the influence of drugs. The 38-year-old was charged with driving while ability impaired by drugs. So one guy was drunk, and he hit a car, and the guy whose car got hit called the cops, and he was on drugs. So they were both messed up, and they both got in trouble. So what lesson is to be learned here? Do not call the police. I mean, I guess you could call the police, but you probably shouldn't if you're drunk or high. So just, whatever. Who likes to take selfies? If you're a member of my Facebook page, you'll notice that I post selfies all the time. I'm a selfie addict.
But first, let me take a selfie.
Regardless, this happened in Auburn, Maine. This is the last story I'm gonna do. I promise. I ain't gonna do no more stories. In Auburn, Maine, a photo op with a squirrel that went AWOL has left a teenager flustered but unhurt. 17-year-old Brian Genist of Auburn said Thursday he saw what appeared to be a friendly squirrel. First of all, there is no such thing as a friendly squirrel. Do not ever trust a squirrel. Do not do it, ever. Anyway, this squirrel seemed to be friendly, was on a handrail while walking through John Chestnut Park near Tampa, Florida. He was on a trip looking at colleges. This kid was, Brian Genest, or whatever the hell his name was. Genest took a selfie of himself and the squirrel, but the flash and noises from his camera phone scared the squirrel, which climbed under his shirt and hung onto his back before scampering back out. Reminds me of the Mississippi Squirrel Revival. You ever heard that song by Ray Stevens?
That day that squirrel went berserk at the First Baptist Church, that leafy little down that basket of love.
Anyway, so that's how it goes. So anyway, what's the moral of the story? Never trust someone that has nuts in their mouth. That's a pretty good idea. Don't ever trust somebody that's got nuts in their mouth. I knew a bartender one time who liked to play with her balls. Whole nother story. A bartender with balls just don't do anything for me. Be that as it may, if I never was. This is just about the end of the show because we're running out of time. I thank you. I appreciate it. And if you enjoyed yourself, thank you. I will be back again next week, and hopefully J-Dub will be with me. But if he won't be, it will be Rated Rob G. See ya.
That's all, folks.